I took some inspiration from the state flag, and in the state flag, you have an anchor with the word hope underneath it. But hope isn't really a plan. Hope is a desire. It's not something that's executable. And I looked at what is the anchor representing? What's it symbolizing? What's it holding? And it's really not holding anything other than Rhode Islanders back. And if you think about some of the challenges that we face, you might agree. We're losing our best and brightest college graduates to other states like Massachusetts and Connecticut because that's where the jobs are. We're losing our doctors to the same states because reimbursement rates are much higher in those states. We're also losing our retirees to lower tax states like Florida because our punitive estate tax and the Taylor Swift tax on non-owner occupied residences. And we're only one of a handful of states that taxes Social Security. So we're not very friendly to our seniors or to our college students, and there is an opportunity to do better.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. But first and foremost, thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for coming out to support Mark Mesrobian, candidate for Rhode Island Senate District 36. My name is David Ciccone. I am Mark's cousin, and I couldn't be more honored that Mark asked me to introduce him to all of you. I'd like to recognize my colleagues from the Senate who have joined us here today. Leader Ciccone, Chairman Burke, Senator Patalano, and Senator Dimitri. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. Before I introduce Mark, I'd like to tell you a little bit about him, his family, where he comes from, and who he is as a person. Mark was born and raised in North Providence. He's the son of the late Anto Mesrobian, a union Local 94 carpenter. Mark's father was extremely well respected in the trade, known not only as a master carpenter, but a tremendously talented cabinet maker. And his mother, Carol, was a stay-at-home mom, raising Mark's two siblings, Steve and Stephanie. And then, in her 70s, Auntie Carol enrolled in Johnson & Wales University and earned a bachelor's degree in business management. It's just amazing. And not only is Auntie Carol here with us tonight, but she just celebrated her 91st birthday last week. Let's give it up for Auntie Carol. So now it's obvious that Mike had fine examples in both his mother and father, who promoted a strong work ethic, the importance of a higher education, and the value of giving back to your community. So with parents like Anto and Carol, it's no surprise that Mark was a hard worker at a young age, where he and his brother Steve were the neighborhood paper boys, promptly delivering the Providence Journal every single day to family and friends in the neighborhood. Mark is a product of public education, and after graduating North Providence High School in 1985, went on to earn a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from the great University of Rhode Island. And that was back in 1989. Now, in the early 1990s, Rhode Island, and the country for that matter, were in a recession. It was tough times, and it was challenging to find employment during those days, never mind a high-tech job. Those were extremely scarce. But that did not deter Mark. He adapted and overcame, taking a chance as a small business owner and opening up a Subway sandwich shop right here in Narragansett. As the economy slowly improved, Mark sold his shares in that business and landed a job at a homegrown Rhode Island company and local success story, American Power Conversion. After honing his sales skills and leadership skills at APC, Mark's entrepreneurial spirit and eagerness motivated him to once again become a small business owner, where he founded and currently owns and operates a thriving online retail business named Fifth and Ninth. Now, if that wasn't enough, Mark's also the general manager of Bonnet Shores Beach Club, just across the way. And I know that many members of the board of Bonnet Shores and the Bonnet Shores community are here to support Mark, as are many of his family and friends. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the members of the Armenian community that have come out so strongly for my cousin Mark. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me wrap this up. Mark has called Narragansett his home for over 30 years and lives only a few blocks away on Tupelo Trail with his loving, and in no uncertain terms, his fiercely loyal wife, Breach. All right, Breach? He has an impressive resume. He's a friend to many, has a prolific passion for public service. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me tremendous pleasure to introduce to you Mark for Rhode Island, Mr. Mark Mesrobian.
David, that was a fantastic introduction, and this guy Mark sounds wonderful. I think I could actually vote for this guy. Sounds like an amazing person. And you know, as David is giving his introduction, it reminded me of, it took us back to a childhood memory when we were maybe 12, 13 years old, and we either spent weekends with David in Smithfield with his family, or in North Providence at my parents' house. And this one particular day, it was my brother Steve, David, and I. We were like the Three Musketeers, but we were probably more like Three Stooges or the Little Rascals, because mischief always found us somehow. And my father, as David said, is a cabinet maker. He had this amazing cabinet shop in the basement. He also had a lock shop. And on the wall of the lock shop, there was a Crossman 760 BB gun that we really loved. And had the wood stocks and everything. And this one Saturday afternoon, I may have shot David with them. Luckily, it wasn't fatal, and luckily he doesn't hold a grudge. That was an amazing introduction. I really appreciate that. Another memory that set off in my mind was something David and I always talk about, and he mentioned it a little bit. The Armenian community sitting over here to our right is David and I are both second-generation Armenian Americans, and our grandparents came here under the worst conditions possible. The Armenian genocide in 1915, 1.5 million Armenians were killed at the hands of the Ottoman Empire, the Turks, and that really means a lot to me, because they came to Rhode Island through the worst path possible, and they settled in Rhode Island, and they established lives. They had no money, they had no family, didn't know the language, but somehow they were able to establish a great community centered around the Armenian church, and because of that, we're here today. And I look back at my parents and say, there's nothing that ever could happen to me that my grandparents already didn't overcome. So I'm ready to work hard, and I'm ready to put the effort in to make sure that this seat gets, we take this seat over. But before I really get started, I also have to recognize my wife, Breach, who is my rock, and it took a little bit of coercing and negotiating in order to get her to agree to let me do this, because this is, as David said, you know, there's not a whole lot of free time in my life, but it's something that I feel very passionate about, and something that I'm looking forward to doing. So I will give you a little bit more about my background. So I am a lifelong Rhode Islander, grew up in North Providence, and landed in South County in 1985 when I entered URI as a business major. But I graduated with an electrical engineering degree in 1989. And you might think, how the heck did he end up in engineering from a business major? Well, my older brother Steve is standing over there. He's 14 months older than I am, and he was the trailblazer. He was an engineer before I was. And when I saw the cost of the books that we had to buy, I said, I could stay in business or I could go into engineering and pocket the $250 book money that my parents were giving us every semester, use Steve's books, and become an engineer. I'm good at math. What's the challenge here? So in hindsight, I probably should have stayed in business, but by the time I figured that out, it was too late to get out of engineering. I opened my first business, a Subway sandwich shop, in 1991 as the economy was in recession, as David said. And I learned early on what it feels like to sign the front of the check versus signing the back of the check. When you have the responsibilities of owning a business and being responsible for making a payroll and all the regulations and the sales tax reporting, things like that, you really get an appreciation for what a lot of small businesses go through. So that's something that's always been in the back of my mind. But 5 years into the Subway, I also figured out I like eating sandwiches more than I like making them. So I ended up selling it to my partner Chris, and then I ended up working or getting a job in South County, 1995 at APC. It is one of Rhode Island's great success stories. And I started in customer service and eventually became director of retail sales and had the opportunity to work for a big company to compare the differences between a small company and a big company. So I stayed at APC for about 5 years, and then in 2001, I started Complete Sourcing Solutions. And for 25 years, we've been reinventing ourselves. We started by being a manufacturer's rep, selling to some of the accounts that I was selling at APC. As a retail salesperson, we were selling to CompUSA, Circuit City, and Sam's Club, Walmart, places like that. But over the 25 years that we've been doing Complete Sourcing, we've reinvented ourselves multiple times, including selling PPE during COVID, and we are currently focused on brand building and selling our 5th and 9th branded eyewear to Tier 1 retailers like Nordstrom, Urban Outfitters, Anthropologie, and direct-to-consumer. And as David said, I'm also the general manager of Bonnet Shores Beach Club, where I lead a staff of 15 people, full-time people, and over 250 seasonal employees. And that's where I work with the board of directors, and we manage a $5+ million budget, and we serve thousands of Rhode Islanders from all over in a very short 5-month window. So it's challenging, it's exciting. I get to talk to a lot of great people, and combined, I have 35 years of business experience that I like to apply and work with some of the other senators in the state in Smith Hill right now to take on the challenges facing Rhode Island. And I was thinking about my campaign and put together a lot of time and effort into the website. If everybody has an opportunity to check it out, markforrhodeisland.com. I took some inspiration from the state flag, and in the state flag you have an anchor with the word hope underneath it. But hope isn't really a plan. Hope is a desire. It's not something that's executable. And I looked at what is the anchor representing? What's it symbolizing? What's it holding? And it's really not holding anything other than Rhode Islanders back. And if you think about some of the challenges that we face, you might agree. We're losing our best and brightest college graduates to other states like Massachusetts and Connecticut because that's where the jobs are. We're losing our doctors to the same states because reimbursement rates are much higher in those states. We're also losing our retirees to lower tax states like Florida because our punitive estate tax and the Taylor Swift tax on non-owner occupied residences. And we're only one of a handful of states that taxes Social Security. So we're not very friendly to our seniors or to our college students, and there is an opportunity to do better. So if you haven't guessed it, I'm a numbers guy, and I'm running as a wannabe engineer and a pro-business Democrat. And I believe our economy is the foundation on which a solid house is built. You can't build a house on a rocky foundation, and it starts with the current budget. If you bear with me for 1 second, Let me just go through this. In 2026, the state of Rhode Island has a $14 billion budget with a population of 1.1 million people. That's pretty significant, and that's about $12,750 per person. And if you look at the budget, 45% of it, or $6.4 billion, is for social services, including Medicaid. 25%, or $3.6 billion of it, education subsidies to our cities and towns. And about 16%, or $2.3 billion, is the cost of government. And if I just did a quick Google search, I said, how many employees does the state of Rhode Island have? And if this is true, it's pretty mind-boggling. It came back with 18,225 employees. Now, 1.1 million divided by 18,225 is roughly one employee for every 6 residents. That's a heck of a pretty good service if that's what we're getting. And I don't think that that's what the state is getting at the moment. 6% is infrastructure and mass transit. That's not really working that well for us right now. And 6% is public safety. So every $100 we spend, $40 comes from general revenues. That's income tax, sales tax, payroll tax, and the lottery. 36 comes from the federal government to help offset our healthcare costs and highways. So it is good to have a good relationship with the federal government, since 36% of our budget does come from them, and 24 comes from other funds like special programs and the gas tax, and what I like to think of as possibly gimmicky things. So is 100% of that money being spent wisely, and there are other places to save taxpayers' money? That remains to be seen, but a business person's perspective may find low-hanging fruit that yields some savings, and I think that's all we can ask for. With a solid economy, we're also able to address other issues which plague the state, like the runaway cost of healthcare and the mass exodus of our doctors due to some of the lowest reimbursement rates in the country. Now, this is a ticking time bomb if you think about it, because healthcare inflation is running at about 15 to 18% at the moment. And if we have low reimbursement rates for our doctors, if the reimbursement rates were to go up and healthcare inflation is still growing at 15 to 18%, that is going to be one heck of an expensive premium going forward. We also have some of the highest energy costs in the country, which hurt residents and make it prohibitive for businesses to stay or relocate here. And our education outcomes are mediocre at best. Our investment per pupil is among the highest in the country, but our outcomes don't necessarily reflect the investment. So if we believe our kids are our future, then we need to do better. I'll wrap this up by saying, more than anything, we're running against apathy. And I think most people that I've talked to so far in the short time that I've been doing this think Rhode Island can't change, think that our future is already written, and it really isn't. So my goal is to get out there and to speak to people, to let them know that there is another path forward. And I really do need everybody's help here. I really appreciate the amount of people that came out tonight for an opening event. This is amazing, and I really thank everybody that's here. But everybody's going to get the word out and talk to family and friends. For people that are in District 36, that's Block Island, Narragansett, and North Kingston. And start by sharing the website, mark4ri.com. It's loaded with info, and together we can do this. So thank you very much.
Come on, let's hear it for Mark. You can do better than that. Let's go. All right, folks, if you haven't heard yet, there's a new game in town that has brought together a diverse coalition of business owners and interested persons to form a league to support great candidates like Mark and other candidates who are common sense, pro-business, pro-growth, pro-fiscal conservative. And this is the League of Rhode Island Businesses, and I would like to introduce two of the driving forces, David LeBake and Steve Moretti. Steve, would you come up and say a few words, please?
Good evening. Thank everyone for coming out tonight. I met Dave LeBake about 6-7 months ago when the gun legislation was an issue. We met. Yeah. it's tough to talk over the crowd. Anyway, yeah, we met and we realized that the state of Rhode Island was in very, very, very tough shape. It was led by progressives. It's impossible to get legislation passed. We've had cooperation with all the senators here, and the reps here, they've done a wonderful job.
Guys, can we quiet down, please?
Mike's not working.
Hello, better? Okay.
He's a lawyer, he doesn't know how to talk loud.
So in any event, I'll introduce myself. Stephen Moretti, I've been practicing law in Narragansett for 46 years. When I walked in today, it was nice to see a bunch of friendly faces that I did not know. Knew Mark Mesrobian, and I was starting to say that Dave Vivek and I had met a few months ago to try to do the best we could for the gun owners of the state of Rhode Island to, with the gun bill, it was going to be completely oppressive and hurt every gun owner in the state of Rhode Island. But we realized at that time that no matter how hard we worked, no matter how hard the reps worked and the senators worked to get reasonable legislation passed, it was impossible. So we decided, Dave decided, because he had started individually this League of Rhode Island Businesses, to form a group of people that are pro-business, that are nonpartisan, that are non-political, but we want to just advocate for good candidates. We want to support good, hard-working people that can change the complexion of the state government, both in the House and the Senate. And in doing our homework and doing our research, we realized that the key to a success is to control the budget in the state of Rhode Island. If you control the budget, you control legislation, or stop bad legislation, or negotiate good legislation. And so based on the information that we know, we believe that if we're able to obtain control for senatorial seats, we get to control the budget. And so our league has decided to, Dave's ingenious thought was to create PACs that would allow people to contribute to various PACs throughout the state. There's 39 separate PACs that people can contribute to, which would increase their ability to and help various candidates throughout the state. And what this league is trying to do is we're trying to support the candidates that have helped the reasonable people of the state of Rhode Island, but also elect people that we know would work hard for our state. We've got our first endorsed candidate was Leah Bosclair. She's going to be running as a rep in the southern part of the state. Leah's there. And we're going to be supporting another candidate right there, Laura Torini, that's going to be running in East Greenwich. She has not announced yet. She's going to be running for Senate. And we're here tonight because I had heard about Mr. Mesrobian. Great guy, nice guy, great candidate, great guy. And I really never read about him. And then I read his resume today, and I went on his website, and I was thoroughly impressed with the vast amount of experience he has, the knowledge he has, the tenaciousness he's had and experienced, a self-made man, and it made someone that our league truly wants to support, raise money for, and get him elected to the senatorial seat. So our league has put together a donation that we want to start his campaign with, and I'm going to introduce Dave Vivek to talk about that donation.
Hi, thank you guys for coming in. So the League of Rhode Island Business, what we did is we formed 39 PACs plus the original one we had around Rhode Island. By having 39 PACs, it allows us to raise an unbelievable amount of money, but also put up to $1 million a year on the table directly into candidates' hands. When we first endorsed Leah Beauclair, we opened up and gave her $8,000 out of the gate. We got another $2,000 for her. She's at 10. Tonight we're about to hand off $10,000 to Mark Mesrobian, and we're going to do the same thing to Laura Torini. Our group is not just paying attention to some districts. We're paying attention to every district in Rhode Island, every city and town. If there's an open seat, we're going to find somebody for it. If there's somebody passing laws that are unconstitutional, we're going to do what we can to get them out of there. If someone's not doing their job the way they should be up there, we're going to get them out of there. We're going to primary them or get somebody against them. We're proud to endorse this guy. He's a great guy. He's going to make a great senator, and he's going to win. And we're going to hand off 5 checks to him right now. Thank you. So these checks represent 5 different PACs throughout the state of Rhode Island. Narragansett, South County, right? We got South Kingstown, North Kingstown, the main pack, and New Shoreham, which is Block Island. All of these packs have maxed out to Mock, which means they cannot give any more money to Mock. But we got 35 more that can if we need to put up to $80,000 in Mock's hands just this year alone, and repeat that again in January if we need to. Along with other good senators and reps that are up there, we will back them as well to make sure they stay in office. And I want to hand off to Mark the official checks right now. $10,000. And this is, I have to say, thank you to all the people that have donated. It's not just us at the league. A lot of people in this room have donated money from $10 to $2,000. Some people even donated $6,000 and $8,000 in a clip. We got to thank you guys for doing it. We're not stopping. If you go on our website, you can donate to all of our packs. We have campaigns where you can donate from $200 all the way up to $100,000 in a clip. We also have a campaign if somebody wants to donate money and they want to stay under the radar, you can donate from $200 to $9,900. And it's a unified giving. You will be totally secret. No one will ever know you donated, and it's totally legal under the Board of Election and under the 501c. Mark, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 10,000. There's no other organization in the state of Rhode Island that's been this new that's donated $10,000 to these two candidates out of the gate. We have the ability to do more, and we're going to, but it's with your support that it's going to make it happen. But the funny thing was, this guy called me up today and said, Dave, I've already raised almost $13,000 on my own, and you're only giving me 10. You need to match this.
I'm Armenian, what do you want me to do?
I will tell you, probably by the end of the year, at the rate we're going, we will match that, but he'll probably raise more and take us up another notch. Mark, thank you very much. You're going to be there. Thank you guys for coming out. Leah, thank you. Laura, thank you. Laura is announcing December 2nd is going to be her kickoff. December 2nd, we'll keep you guys informed.